Thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm JB Bryan. I'm the President and Chief Investment Officer at JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm. And today we're talking about financial independence, steps and keys to financial independence. And I have with me, of course, my book, AfroEconomics, Our Black Wealth Matters. Make sure you check out AfroEconomics, Our Black Wealth Matters in the bookstore at afroeconomics.com. Let me check my notes. I want to make sure that I tell you about the app. The app is on the website or search it on your smartphone. And then also the afroeconomics.com website has membership privileges for you. So please make sure that you take advantage of the membership. We have private conference calls. We have a lot of things for members only that I would like for you to take advantage of, and private webinars coming up. So it's exciting. AfroEconomics is growing by leaps and bounds, and we thank God for it. The AfroEconomics Academy, the next class is April, and in April 14th, and in the Academy, we're going to be talking about actually the next class, I think it's the 18th or 14th, or it might be the 8th, but check it out. So the next topic of the next class is refusetobebroke.com. So check out refusetobebroke.com and make sure that I have your dates right, but we'll have a lot of segments between here and then to remind you of checking out the AfroEconomics Academy. And every month I'm doing them live. This month in April, or next month in April, it will be in Richmond, Virginia, but I'm going to be moving it around the planet. So if you would like the AfroEconomics Academy to come to your town, please let me know. I know that my next destination is going to be Washington, D.C., because I have a lot of clients there. But if please let me know if you would like for me to come to your area. I would love to help and empower your community as well. The AfroEconomics Academy at afroeconomics.com. So check it out. Let me continue. So I wanted to make sure that I tell you about the plan of life that I think is really helpful for everybody. And I think that all of us need to have a plan A and a plan B. Now, plan A is to believe in yourself, and plan B is to repeat plan A. So if you give up on plan A, believing in yourself, go to plan B and repeat plan A again, and you will definitely develop financial independence. And we have to create the life that we deserve. You heard it here from JB Bryan, as I totally believe in that. So in the book, the second principle of AfroEconomics is self-reliance and financial independence. So that's what we're talking about today, is financial independence. What are some key areas? In the back of each chapter, I break down just some key things that I want you to take out of each chapter that we discuss, because the book is really me talking, just sharing ideas, sharing things, a mindset that I think that will help our community continue to grow and develop wealth. So some keys there for developing financial independence I have found is that a financially independent person had to learn how to think independently. They had to learn that a keeping up with the Joneses type attitude is not where you should be when you're trying to develop financial independence, because a lot of times when you're focusing on what's outside of you and focusing on things, you're not really taking personal responsibility for some good financial steps that you should be taking. So a key there is independent thinking means you have the ability to not try to keep up with the Joneses. So remember that. Also, what I want you to take some key steps to financial independence as principle number 2 of AfroEconomics is self-reliance means shifting from a victim mindset to a survivor mindset. You'll find that a lot of people, unfortunately, when they explain their financial woes or financial challenges that may be showing up on their credit report, they'll say, this happened to them. So when you talk about things as these things happen to you or happen to me, you're being a victim. What instead you should just accept, be in tune, be in touch, know what has happened, but what you can do, what are some key steps that you can take in order to turn those things around. So instead of being a victim, we're going to focus on a self-reliant, financially independent person as a survivor. They're a person who has learned from every experience that they've gone through. Also, being fearless, facing your fears, facing the challenges that you have ahead, facing the facts. I remember when I first became an unexpected, never thought that I would be a single parent owning a business, and young, that I didn't think that that would happen to me. I was felt happily married. The only way that I recovered from that, the only way I got through that is I had to accept that this is where I am. I am, divorced now, single parent, and that I had to become fearless about facing the realities of the responsibilities. Most financially independent person, it's to be hard. You cannot find a financially independent person who isn't about facing their responsibilities. And in order to face responsibilities, that means developing an attitude of fearlessness. Everybody gets afraid, but they face the fears and you develop courage through it. So that's something to think about. What about this? As another key step to financial independence is choosing freedom and flexibility over comfort. Choosing freedom and flexibility over comfort, because sometimes the easy thing to do, the comfortable thing to do, is going to bog you down and create a lot of financial problems for you down the road, even though right now it is the most comfortable thing to do. It doesn't mean that it is the best thing for you to do. It's not going to allow you to grow or develop the freedom that you really want to have. So choosing freedom and flexibility over comfort. What about this? Mental and emotional health is as important as financial wealth. And we need to remember that as you are developing your commitment to financial independence, and we're realizing that we're not victims, that we are survivors, that's going to take that commitment to mental and physical health, just overall health, and that fearlessness and that courage that you develop will help you become a more healthy person overall. It will make you commit yourself to that I'm going to have a healthy lifestyle, because people who have financial stress, unfortunately, the financial stress leads to some illnesses, depression, cardiovascular disease. Research is showing that financial stress is not healthy for you, and especially not over the long term. So that financial independence is going to involve you making sure that you're healthy so that you can continue to work and work at your maximum level, creating the maximum income. And then also, it's going to allow you to be able to take care of your family, take care of your responsibilities, and be able to face your fears, face your challenges, face and accept your responsibilities face on, right? So let's look at some other key steps to financial independence. What about living within your means? Like, not keeping up with the Joneses, but making sure that you're living within your means, and if you can, live below your means and still be happy. Now, wouldn't that be nice that that you're not spending every dime, you've made a commitment to it, but you are very content, happy, at peace with what you have? And that requires the first thing we talked about, like really focusing in on what is important to you and your family, and not worrying about what anybody else has going on. So, and a second point is to make savings automatic. So that's an important part of financial independence. I found that my clients that are most successful, they accepted that they were going to save a certain percentage of their funds each month and put it into, many of you work for someone, and you're not even taking advantage of the retirement accounts that they have available for you, because you sometimes assume, I'm not going to be here long, so I'm not going to do that. Every day that you work, even if you plan on only staying there for a short period of time, still participate. It's still reducing your taxable income, and it's still an automatic savings that is increasing your chances of success. So definitely make automatic saving, even if you don't work for someone and you work for yourself, you own your own business. Make sure that you set up a commitment to automatic saving automatically. I have to do these things for myself, and setting up smart spending. I'm glad I put these notes here. But along with your automatic savings, make sure that you're spending you're spending each dollar that you make correctly. I've made a commitment to what I spend now. I really focus on, is this building me as a person? Is it building my business? Is it building my clients? Is it building my ability to serve you and make the world a better place? Or is this just a thing, or just something that's going to depreciate in value? Say the difference between buying a real good briefcase that's going to help you go in and do your job better, or buying a purse that costs the same thing, but it's only a purse and it can't fit your computer in it. It can't fit your portable camera in it. It can't fit your Wi-Fi in it. It can't fit. So but you're still spending the same $500 or $600, but one is going to prove itself in value over the long term, and one will indeed not give you the return on that investment that you truly need to be everything that we spend. I mean, I know there are going to be some things that we waste our money on, I guess, but if we thought about, why am I spending this on most of the dollars that we spend, then financial independence will be a lot easier to obtain. Definitely would. And then what about, think twice about the things that you've decided, this is a fixed expense of my life. So I know that, why does this fixed expense have to be a fixed expense? Why do you have to be spending that money all the time? Why does your mortgage have to be a fixed part of your life? What if you say, I'm going to pay this mortgage off in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and after that 20-year, 15-year period, that expense will be gone. Sometimes we decide that I always have to have a car payment. So then you constantly are always buying another car, another vehicle, another one. Is that really true? Do you really always have to have a car payment? Could you not save and actually buy a car? Just buy the car. People do that, and you're in a much better position to negotiate. When you have the cash that you've saved, that you said, oh, I'm going to need another car in about 5 years. So start saving for that car. Start saving for those things. You don't have to have these expenses all the time. In order to be financially independent, it really is that you have the income that's generated from your assets that take care of all of your expenses. So we have to be about accumulating assets. We have to be about spending on things that are going to build income for us in the future. So even though we realize that we see real estate as an investment, we must realize that your residential real estate is not going to generate income for you unless you rent out a portion of your residence. So I have a friend of mine, she purchased a duplex. I have, actually, when I think about it, I have several friends that purchased duplexes, and that their mortgage was paid by the renter on the other side, and that was actually renting the other part of their duplex. So when they were able to even pay the property off without actually spending their own money, by being willing to have a duplex. There's people who have apartments in the bottom of their home. But then you're changing your residence actually into something that will pay for yourself, but you have to be flexible. Remember, I was talking about freedom and flexibility, versus comfort. Some people say, well, I would never do that. I remember early in my business when I initially went through a divorce, and I actually sold a residential property, moved into my commercial property that I owned, renovated the top so that my daughter, who was a newborn, could actually be with me, hired a nanny and she was with me for the first 3 years of her life upstairs while I was working downstairs. So definitely that was being open to flexibility, but I wanted to be in tune with her. I wanted to make sure that I kept my expenses low because I knew that I had additional responsibilities on it. So I was focusing on being a survivor instead of being a victim, and it ended up being a great opportunity, where I was able to act, and it kept me focused. And being able to actually see your child and on my lunch breaks and things like that in between meetings was great opportunity, and it gave employment opportunities to the person who was their nanny. So it's amazing what you can do when you're open to seeing your assets as things that can be income generated for you, or your assets as things that, because then the commercial property became still, I was generating income from it, and then I still was able to have something because I was working the business out of it. And then you also have the residence where you can live in. And so there's so many things that you can do as far as developing your financial independence if we become open-minded and flexible and focusing on how we spend our money, how we spend. And we have to be committed to our financial success. Remember, plan A, believe in yourself. Plan B, repeat plan A, right? Let's do that. So continue to believe in yourself at all times, no matter what. So that last point was about think twice about discretionary expenses and don't accept that what is a fixed expense. Like when I sold the residential property and made changes on the commercial property so that I could work and live in the same place, I didn't accept that mortgage expense had to be fixed, and ended up selling that residential property and making a profit. So there are things that we can do to reduce our fixed expenses. And then what about this? To me is key: avoiding debt. And I've kind of, kept that as the undertone of our discussion. But avoiding debt, and for those of you who are watching, please make comments on this. We have people on the conference call as well. But if you avoid debt, it's much easier to become financially independent. Because financial independence, again, as I said, is having the assets that generate the income that can take care of your daily expenses and some, correct? So for some people, that's developing their retirement portfolio. For some people, staying at a job long enough so that the pension can take care of their expenses, but still you have to keep those expenses down low enough so that even a fixed pension can take care of it, or saving enough while you're working so that you can use that portfolio that to generate the income that you need to maintain your lifestyle over the long term. Many people are retired longer than they actually work. So that's a lot of stress on their portfolio. They have to make sure that their debts are low and not going into retirement and creating even more expenses and debts. And that's a challenge in our senior community as well, that we have to make sure that we keep our debts low. There are so many seniors that have credit card debts. And then like last year, the government decided if they were living solely on Social Security, well, they did not get a raise. So we need to make sure that we're in a position that the income that we generate for ourselves, especially during retirement, is increasing, or making sure that our expenses are decreasing. But hey, the cost of living is constantly going up. So there's not really a point in our life where we really have the luxury of giving up or not being smart. We have to be disciplined all the days of our lives. It's amazing. And the more mature and the older that you get, the more important that it is to be disciplined about our finances, about our mindset, about our personal choices. But instead, all too often, we get older and become lazy about these things. But we have to make a lifetime commitment. One of the key principles is about knowledge in AfroEconomics. Here on the poster, if you would like it, go to AfroEconomics.com. And when you register, we're going to send you the poster. And a key part of it, I broke down the brain, and each of the brain, this mind is about the mindset. Our Black wealth matters. And lifetime learner, front and front and center, that we have to be committed to continuous knowledge. That's why the Academy is important. That's why I love that you participate in these videos, because every time that we talk, every time that you listen, there's something that you think about. No matter what stage that you are in your life, be committed to lifetime learning and realizing the importance of avoiding unnecessary debt. Before you leave me, I'm looking at my screen, I can tell, before you leave me, I want to just read a little bit from the book. Self-reliance is knowing that from an idea we have and can act on, we will create the wealth that we desire. Self-reliance is about teaching our family that everybody doesn't have to get a job working for someone else, but you can create a business and create income for yourself and others. So even though a lot of you are working for someone, don't disrespect or not honor the person who has a commitment to developing their own business. If you have the child like me that is committed to entrepreneurship, and I've always been like this, then make sure that you encourage that in them as well, and they can become financially independent. A self-reliant person does not underestimate the power of long-term thinking. And I'm glad that I read from this section in the book, because many people overestimate what they can do quickly and underestimate what they can accomplish over the long term. I believe, and this is me talking, I believe that patience is a big part of wealth development. And I want you all to really investigate. Make sure that you check out the book, AfroEconomics, Our Black Wealth Matters, because it's, for example, when I talk about overestimating the short term, but underestimating what you can accomplish over the long term, this is an example. With our investment portfolios, we want them to double every month and every year. We want dramatic returns in our portfolios over the short term, but that's overestimating the short term. What we need to realize is the power of compounding of our money over the long term, and that's where it can really pay off for us. A self-reliant, financially independent person has to make sure that they don't underestimate the power of long-term thinking. Do not underestimate the power of long-term thinking. Becoming financially independent requires that you take advantage of plan A, believing in yourself, and plan B, repeating plan A. Never stop believing in yourself. If you want to become financially independent, make sure you participate in the AfroEconomics.com membership program. Make sure that you participate in anything that's going to be good for you. Make sure that you associate yourself with people that are like mind, of same commitment, that are about you, believe in you, and are committed to financial success. I'm JB Bryan, and that's AfroEconomics with JB Bryan. And we talked today about the keys to financial independence. The AfroEconomics.com is a website where you can join. It has membership privileges, and we have private teleconferences and webinars. But also, these sessions I've made a commitment to every Wednesday, member or not. I want to hang out with you. So Google Hangout is a good way for us to participate as well. Please post your comments so that I can talk with you afterwards, and email me at jb@jbbryan.com if you would like to. And I'm only going to tell you this here, so those of you who stayed through the entire video will know about this. email me directly and say, I subscribe to your YouTube channel. Can you send me the ebook version of the book? And I'll send it to you, but only if you send me the email, and I'll send you a free ebook version of AfroEconomics, Our Black Wealth Matters. I'm JB Bryan, and I'm the President and Chief Investment Officer at JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm and the home of AfroEconomics. Have a great week. God bless you all.